Hi everyone, welcome to another Tree Raccoon Studios production. Today we'll be going over Houston vocab, a continuation of our American cities. And we would have gone from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now we're going south near the Mexican border. And Houston is a part of the state of Texas, is one of the largest cities down there. As per usual, we'll be going over 3 different sentences. We will go through each one normally, then we'll go through it slowly again. And today we have about 6 vocab words that folks are having a hard time with. So here's the first sentence. Houston has a large Vietnamese population in Little Saigon. Houston has a large Vietnamese population in Little Saigon. Here's a second sentence. The Johnson Space Center is a museum full of spacecraft. The Johnson Space Center is a museum full of spacecraft. Here's the last sentence. A rodeo is a competition between people who raise livestock. A rodeo is a competition between people who raise livestock. So here's the first vocab word that folks are having a hard time with, and it's the name of the city itself. It's pronounced Houston. Houston. This one you're just going to have to memorize. It's a name that is named after a person whose last name was Houston. Whenever you see H-O-U-S, chances are it's going to be a Hugh or a Hugh sound. So Houston. The second one is population. Population. This word's important to really break it up into each individual syllables, and it's really okay to just look at the word and go population, and that will help really clarify what you're saying. The third one is spacecraft. Spacecraft. So when you have a word that has the word craft at the end, you're going to have it where you have aircraft, watercraft, landcraft, spacecraft. Craft in this case means vehicle. So a spacecraft is a vehicle that goes through space. The next one is rodeo. This is an Americanized word from Spanish, rodeo, which means rodeo is like a circle. And so it's like going in a circle, because in a rodeo, you go around in a circle. But in English, and especially American English, it's pronounced rodeo. In class, I heard a lot of radio. That's radio is something that you listen to music on. You turn up the radio. Rodeo is something that you watch and you see people compete in. So 2 very different things. And people will get confused if they heard I went to a radio the other day. They won't understand what you're talking about. But if you say, I went to a rodeo, they're like, oh, that sounds like fun. Here's the 5th vocab word. Competition. Competition. It's the same thing with population. You just sound out each individual sound, and no one's going to look at you weird if you're like, I went to the competition the other day, just to be extra clear. That's fine. The last word is livestock. Livestock. This is an English word that you can kind of guess the meaning of it just by looking at how the word is formed. You have stock. So like in a grocery store, you have sugar in stock. You have a stock of supplies. Stock is something that you have that you can use as a resource. Live means it's alive. It's an animal. It's a creature. So livestock. It's supplies that are alive. Livestock. I personally have not been to Houston. I haven't been that south. The closest I've been is probably New Orleans, but even still, I haven't visited. The Vietnamese population, interestingly enough, is highly concentrated in Houston. When there was folks coming over in the 1970s, they landed in Houston, Texas. And that's why you have this concentration of the Vietnamese in areas like Little Saigon, where the culture is very strong there. Another cool thing about Houston is it was the mission control for a lot of the moon landings. So if you ever hear an American say, Houston, we have a problem, they're referring to an accident that happened where the folks up in one of the Apollo missions was trying to contact Houston at the Johnson Space Center saying, hey, we got an issue here. So that's when you hear, Houston, we have a problem. That's saying something is messed up. And lastly, rodeos are really popular in Texas, extremely popular. The culture around rodeos are very strong. In the United States, rodeos are really popular as well. You have professional bull riding. So that's where a guy will try to hang on for at least 8 seconds on top of a very frustrated and angry animal. And also with bucking broncos, as well as other things like team pinning and, trying to use their lasso and catch an animal as well. I highly recommend seeing a rodeo. It's worth seeing at least once. And when they're really, when it's a big production, it's a really good example of American culture and something that's very unique that you won't find anywhere else. Well, thank you very much for your time. Hope you've enjoyed this. Feel free to like and subscribe. And I strongly recommend that you visit Houston if you can. I hope to do so in the future. Thank you very much.